Hello, everyone in ethical leadership. I just wanted to take a few minutes to comment about the discussion in ethical lessons. First, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for sharing your stories, for sharing such great stories, such moving stories. This is one of the times where I'm really sad that we're not face to face in a class and we can't have these conversations and have some back and forth. But at least we don't have to get up at 5 in the morning and drive somewhere on a Saturday. So we'll do what we can. But thank you for your contributions this week. I think this really advances the learning. One of the ways that we think most helpfully about ethical leadership is by looking at real life situations and then analyzing those situations, having conversations about those situations, and seeing what is it that makes doing the right thing in a particular situation more likely? What is it that makes it possible? And I think in a lot of these cases, the things that underlie the motivation and the inspiration to do the right thing are certain virtues. Courage, Aristotle said, is the mother of all virtues, because without it, you cannot consistently perform the others. And C.S. Lewis said something similar. He said, courage is not just one of the virtues, but the form of every virtue at its testing point. So both of these philosophers are saying that courage is necessary if we're going to perform the other virtues in trying circumstances, in extreme circumstances, when it's difficult to do them. A lot of times we're going to need the virtue of courage, the virtue of being able to overcome our fears in order to do the right thing. So I see that happening in several situations that were described in the discussion forum this week. For example, Julie, when you talked about going to your boss and saying, no, we can't lie to our client and just use the old metrics, that took courage. It took courage to go and tell your boss something that he didn't want to hear, something that he explicitly said he was opposed to doing, and saying, no, I think we need to tell the truth, that we don't have any metrics. And then it took courage to say that to the client as well, somebody who is definitely going to be disappointed to hear that news. So it took courage to be able to do the right thing, to tell the truth. Melissa, it certainly took courage in that situation with that school committee chair and his co-conspirators who deleted your documents, to say, no, I'm not going to use your document. I'm not going to lie about this. There's a bizarre imbalance of power in that situation, but you stood firm, and that was a very admirable thing. Marlene, you had the courage to speak up when a colleague said something that was prejudiced and unacceptable. I mean, that takes courage. This is somebody that you have to continue to work with, somebody that you have an ongoing working relationship with. And you say, well, I'm not going to be afraid if this person reacts in a bad way. Somebody cannot allow, you just cannot allow this kind of discrimination to go on and unchallenged. Corey, the story that you told about the dirty colonoscope, it seems that there were a variety of people in that situation, any one of whom could have said, this is just too much, we're going to get too much negative publicity, I could lose my job, bad things could happen, the whole hospital looks bad, I can't do this. But they had the courage to do the right thing. They had the courage to say, even when they had the opportunity really to rationalize and say, oh, it's probably not a big deal and it's probably not going to hurt anybody, but still they did the right thing. Camilla, your story about working in the jewelry store just out of high school and your manager telling you to lie to police and investigators, and you just saying, no, I can't do that. I have to tell the truth. It took courage to go against somebody who who had given you a job, who was your superior, and who was kind of implying that you could be the one who gets in trouble if you don't say what he said. Christina, working in your internship and stopping the production line because you felt there might be a product safety issue. That took a lot of courage, and I especially appreciated your comment about afterward. You said that you had gotten a tongue lashing, but that you would much rather have that happen again than to risk unsafe product going out. Courage. Diana, another incredible story. I can't imagine ending the workday on Friday and going straight to the FBI to report the crazy illegal things that that mortgage company that you were working for was doing. That you had no idea really what was going to happen there. Certainly that took courage. And then another virtue that came up in this discussion forum was compassion. Cindy, your compassion for the child said, you're just going to have to give some money, even though the policy says don't give money. The child needs milk. The child gets milk. Policy is less important than the welfare of the child. I'd say that also took a little courage too, because you could have gotten in trouble. You could have possibly gotten reprimanded. Aaron Simison talks about the care of a cat and not doing convenience euthanasia, but making sure that it really is the most compassionate thing to do for the animal, that it's the best thing for the animal. I saw that as a real example of compassion, of looking for what's best for that other, In this case, it was a cat, to treat it well. And then the virtue of integrity, of kind of sticking to our moral principles, of being committed to fundamental values and staying committed to them, even though not being committed to them would make our lives easier. That doing something that's unethical would benefit us. So it's not exactly courage, because it's not overcoming our fear of what might happen if we act ethically. It's not overcoming our fear of something bad might happen to me if I tell the truth in this situation, but it's how do I tell the truth in this situation, even when telling a little lie is really going to benefit me. And the story that Amy told about not faking those contact numbers. It would have been an easy thing to do. It would make you look better, and probably nobody would really get hurt. You could rationalize it like that, but you had integrity. You had that commitment to telling the truth. So it wasn't an option for you. Integrity. Or Suzanne, I see that as an example of integrity. You're kind of balancing the loyalty to your employees and to Barnes & Noble, that you're not, on the one hand, just going to tell your employees, oh, just keep on going, everything's going to be fine. You have to keep working for the company. And you're not going to tell your employees either to, just jump ship because we don't know what's going to happen. But that balance of saying, well, let's be ready, update your resume, be prepared, but let's see what happens. Let's see if we can continue to do our jobs well and be loyal to the company to a certain extent. And I saw integrity happening in your case, Mary, with the reprimand you got over the fundraising, that you were really trying to act with integrity. You were trying to act in the best interest of the organization, and you ran against this rule that said that you couldn't do fundraising. And I would say, since you were trying to do your best for the organization, and there was no bad intent there, I think that the letter of reprimand was more than should have happened. I think a verbal discussion that would have been sufficient. So I hope that you're able to work that out. And Aaron Squires, the virtue of persistence, one that we don't talk about very much in moral terms, but persistence can be something that really enables us to do the right thing, And in your case, your persistence, your commitment to going back to these insurance companies time after time after time in order to get these cancer test screenings approved, your persistence, your commitment, your endurance is what enables you to do the right thing to try to get the proper care for your patients. So I'm sorry this is a little bit long, but I wanted to say something about each of your stories. I thought they were all very helpful in helping us look at what lessons can we learn from these different situations about how we can be ethical, what it takes to be ethical, and how we can encourage ourselves and put ourselves in a position where we're more likely to be ethical. So thanks again, and I look forward to more discussions. Have a good week.